Hi everyone, I'm Connie, founder and CEO of Astrid Miyu, your favorite jewelry brand. I'm so excited today to be showcasing our first ever designer collaboration, Susan Caplan x Astrid Miyu. And I'm here with our very own Susan Caplan. Hi Susan, how
Hi,
are
Connie.
you?
I'm very well, thank you.
So nice to have you
Well,
here.
thank you for inviting me. It's very lovely to be here.
I think all of you know who Susan Caplan is, but I'd love for you to introduce yourself and your brand.
Absolutely. My brand is Susan Caplan Vintage. I am the founder and CEO of the brand. We are the UK market leader for vintage jewellery. I curate big collections and have been curating for 40 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. So when we spoke previously, you spoke briefly about how the industry has changed over the last 40 years. Can you tell us a bit more about that? What you've seen in the jewelry slash vintage industry?
And the biggest change is the sustainability aspect. Before, people were buying vintage jewellery primarily because they loved it. They loved the history behind it. They loved that each piece did tell a little story about its previous life. But now people do like it for that reason, but they also love it because it is sustainable.
Yeah.
And sustainability is at the forefront of everyone's mind. It's at the forefront of fashion. And we have to become more sustainable in our approach so that we are safeguarding our planet.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was looking at designers to collaborate with, like you were on top of my list. I mean, not just because you're an inspiration to me and I've been admiring you for years, but also the sustainability element because it's truly sustainable. You're repurposing vintage jewelry. And let's go back to the moment when we met. So I met Dom,
Absolutely.
your son-in-law. We met because of a different reason. We met through a meeting, and then at the end of the conversation, he actually mentioned you, and I was like, oh my God, like this must be meant to be because he mentioned that you might be interested in working with us. And I actually like last year at the end of last year when I was creating vision boards and creating like future strategy on sustainability, I had you on my mind and you were always on my mind on someone who I should collaborate with, and you were at top of my list. So when Dom mentioned that, I just felt like it was meant to be.
Well, I'm a great believer in things that are to be. That are meant to be. I believe in fate. Everything happens for a reason. There's no such thing as a coincidence. And when Dom explained everything after the meeting, and I said, but I've wanted to be introduced to Astrid and Miyu. I wanted to meet Connie. I've really been so interested in her brand. And this is fantastic. How do I proceed? Let's get on to it very quickly.
Yeah. And from the first moment we got on the Zoom call, like everything happened so fluidly and so quickly, didn't it?
It did. We got on. The minute
We
onto
just
that
got
call.
on because I feel like we met maybe beginning of the year or like
Probably springtime, yes.
And this just happened, proceeded so quickly. It just happened like one
Absolutely.
after the other.
And that's really because your team is super efficient, super passionate.
Thank you so much.
Super hardworking, and it made it very easy for us to just fit in with you.
Yeah, and having this strong collection that everyone bought into really helped as well.
Absolutely. Well, the collection is a collection that I curated with your team,
Yeah.
and it's very special, and it's lovely big statement pieces, chunky pieces, all versatile. And the jewellery, I love this type of jewellery, and it's very wearable, and it's a great fit.
Yeah, I think so as well. So this collaboration is the perfect marriage between vintage and contemporary in my view. And I think it's really worth mentioning who our customer is through this collaboration.
Absolutely. And our customer is certainly the customer that is very socially responsible and certainly very environmentally conscious. They love something that is very comfortable to wear, and the collection certainly is. They love something that is playful and versatile.
Yeah, and I think the customer is ageless in a way.
And ageless.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because the pieces are timeless.
Yeah, exactly. Because you and I can wear it. Like, most of our staff, the average age is 27. They love the pieces. And I think we can appeal to an audience that represents a lifestyle that's socially conscious and, probably city dwelling and well-traveled rather than like focusing on an age.
Totally. A very wide audience, so it will appeal to anyone and everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah, so what was the process behind selecting and curating these pieces for us, Susan?
Well, because I've been curating my collection for more than 3 decades, almost 4 decades, I have been putting together and building collections for various brands and retailers. And when you approached me, which I was very thrilled with, I thought, I have got the pieces for you. I've got the chunky pieces.
I remember. Our first meeting, you knew exactly like what kind of pieces would fit with us.
And I do go by my instinct. I
Yeah.
see a piece, I love it, I think that's it. I don't hesitate. If it's a no, I'm not interested at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's very instinctive.
Yeah, and I felt like they were very spot on because our product team subsequently went to your office and saw the collections,
Absolutely.
and they absolutely loved it, and it was spot on. Yeah, so I'm just going to go through some of the pieces. What's your personal favorite out of the collection?
I
Susan?
think my personal favorite, and as you can see, I wear silver mostly. So my personal favorite is actually the Figaro bracelets. Well, I have one on
yeah,
here.
I think I'm wearing one here.
Yes,
Yeah,
you do indeed.
I love this one.
And the Figaro was named, it's actually the Italian chain makers that named it in the 19th or late 18th century. And they named it after the operas, the 2 operas there were. One was Marriage of Figaro and the other was The Barber of Seville. And both these operas had a character called Figaro.
Oh, interesting.
So that's story goes is how it was named. And the Figaro bracelet always consists of 1, 2, or 3 links joined together with a different link.
Oh,
And that's
okay. So we've got this toggle necklace
Yes.
that's got a Figaro chain
Absolutely.
as well, isn't
So
it?
that's
we've got
various links with a long link.
Yeah, yeah. I love this one
Yes.
personally, just because it's slightly daintier and I can actually stack with my existing Astrid Miyu pieces. But I also like this double chain
Yes.
and double chain necklace and bracelet
Yes.
set as well, because it's so effective. It's just like so statement.
Absolutely, and I love that. I love statement
Yeah.
pieces, as you can see from my earrings and
Yeah,
my
yeah,
bracelets.
yeah.
And I actually love that because it is a set. I do like a matching necklace and bracelet.
Yeah, it's very classic,
It
isn't
is
it?
very classic.
Yeah.
And actually going back to the Figaro one, there's a lovely sort of historical story behind it. It's not a story, it's how it actually came about. It was in the 1900s. With the toggle, it was the gentlemen of the 1900s wore their suits. They liked to have a pocket watch. The watch was in their pocket. It was attached to a long chain. The end of the chain had a toggle on it, and the toggle would fit through their buttonhole, thus keeping it secure. And that's how it came about. And then many people, there was a variation on that, and it became a necklace.
That's
necklace
so
chain.
interesting. That's so interesting. We were talking earlier about how a lot of fashion statements come from very humble beginnings or like something very unexpected, right? So it's so interesting to hear that.
And there's always like a slight deviation or derivative of that particular piece.
Yeah.
It's a new interpretation.
Yeah, yeah. And tell us about how you generally style your jewelry.
But my signature style is always long earrings. You'll never see me without a pair of small earrings. I just don't do that. I wear the longer the better for me, or huge round hoops.
Yeah, door knockers.
Door knockers, absolutely. I love bracelets. I love bold statement pieces.
One of the reasons why I love this collection is because it goes back to, it takes me back to memory lane and how I started Astrid Miyu, because I used to travel a lot as a child, and my mom used to love going to markets and shifting through jewelry. And she had a lot of jewelry. She's really into chunky pieces. So we have so many of these pieces still to date in her jewelry box that look like exactly like these pieces. So this collection is so special to me.
That's wonderful.
Personally.
That's wonderful that your mother did that. Actually, my mother did the same. She
Yeah.
loved going around all the markets. And as a teenager, that's what I used to love doing.
Yeah, and I guess that's why we do what we do now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a passion that's there always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Susan, thank you so much for coming here, speaking to me about the collection, the story behind the collection, and how our collaboration came about.
Connie, thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed this. It's been such a privilege to be chatting with you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you're excited about this collection as me and Susan are.